Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast. We're back with Henry County Clerk of Courts. First African American Clerk of Courts, am I correct?
Yes, Clerk of Superior Court.
Clerk of Superior Courts.
Yes, sir.
Miss Sabriya Hill, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for taking the time out to share your journey on our podcast. Share your story, the trail that it took you to get to where you are today. Mm-hmm. Who is Sabriya Hill, and how did you get to, like, where did the journey begin?
Sabriya Hill is just a normal person. I consider myself to be a normal person.
Okay.
How I came to this position is back in 2016, I just decided that I wanted to make a difference in Henry County. And why Henry County? Because I am a resident of Henry County and because I've worked in this county. 2001 through 2003, I was actually a Henry County police officer.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I served this community 2003 through 2005. I was a reserve police officer.
Okay.
And so I worked this community. I lived in this community. And I decided with my supervision and managerial experience that I wanted to apply that experience somewhere in government because that was my background.
Okay.
And so I just took a look at all of the positions in the county and stumbled upon the Clerk of Superior Court.
Okay.
And that's literally how it happened. And I said, I can do this job. I have the experience. I have the education.
Okay.
And my 20 years of law enforcement background prepared me for this position.
Right. Okay.
And so I decided to run for it.
Awesome. So I guess being a former police officer, you interacted with the clerk of courts, filing documents, that kind of thing. So how did that, did you see yourself as a police officer saying, hey, I can see myself in like this area, like from the work you were doing? Was it kind of like, did you see it?
So what I saw was not necessarily myself as a police officer and doing the work of a clerk.
Okay.
What I saw myself as is a leader and managing staff and operations.
Okay.
So I managed operations in the police department, investigations, etc.
Okay.
And so that I knew that I could manage court operations and the operations and functions of this office. And so you really just need the skill set and the knowledge to be able to perform a job.
Right.
And so I knew that if I had those skill sets that I would be able to transfer them into this position.
Awesome. Now, what exactly does a clerk of courts, superior courts do? Because, we see the title, but what does a clerk of courts do?
Right. So we wear so many hats.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I probably learn a new job function that I'm responsible for every single day.
Okay.
But the main responsibilities that we have is that we are responsible for the civil and criminal proceeding, the filings. Okay. And so whenever a citizen comes to file into the court. Right. Okay. Those proceedings begin with the Clerk of Superior Court.
Okay.
So a name change, a divorce, an adoption.
Okay.
If you just want to sue someone, that happens. It begins here in this office.
Right.
So as you walked in today, you saw people who were lined up at the counter.
Yes.
They were here for civil suits.
Okay.
Additionally, we have criminal proceedings. So felonies, anything that is punishable by a fine of $1,000 or more, or 12 months in prison. then those come to Superior Court. And so they're bound over by lower courts like magistrate or a state court.
Okay.
And so those cases are heard by Superior Court judges. And so we manage those cases, meaning the filings, anything that is filed into those cases.
Gotcha.
We maintain the documents. We maintain all the scheduling of the hearings, the notices, anything that is sent out on behalf of the defendants,
Gotcha.
the litigants, the attorneys, the judges, etc. So everything that happens in the courtroom, we maintain all of that, and right here in this office. In addition to that, we have the real estate. So every single property that is sold in this office, that transaction goes through this office.
Okay.
And then we have the responsibility to then pay intangible taxes. And so those taxes that go to the school board, the board of education.
Okay.
Yes. We have to send those taxes out and disperse those taxes evenly.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah. So
I didn't even know that.
oh yeah, we have that responsibility as well.
Okay.
So we record the deeds, the plats, and the liens on any property. We also are responsible for the jury administration.
Okay.
So sending out summonses, sending out reminder letters.
Okay.
From the time that a person, the judges decide that they want to have a jury trial.
Okay.
We have to send out the summonses. We have to track that progress.
Right.
We have to send reminder letters. From the time that they come here, we have to check in those jurors.
Okay.
We have to house those jurors. We have to give instruction to those jurors, which courtrooms they need to go to. We have to manage the jurors. We have to pay the jurors.
Yes.
Yes.
So you guys are like the gatekeepers of Superior Court, pretty much.
Of the records.
Of
yes.
the records. Of the records, I would say.
Of the records, but then also we are gatekeepers of managing jury administration.
Okay.
We're also responsible for the Board of Equalization. And the Board of Equalization, a lot of people don't know what that is, but the Board of Equalization is the board that hears if a person wants to appeal their taxes, tax assessment rather.
Okay.
So the board of the tax assessor's office will assess our taxes. So anyone who owns property, we receive a tax assessment yearly, and if we don't agree with that tax assessment, then we have the right to appeal. And so when we appeal that, then the Board of Equalization will hear the evidence provided by the tax assessors and then the evidence provided by the tax appellant to determine whether or not that assessment was actually within law.
Okay.
And so we are actually over that as well.
Man, I didn't even know man, that sounds like a big time job. So, I mean, you guys are managing, it sounds like you guys manage the assets and liabilities of what happens in a county, almost from real estate. When I say assets and liabilities, I mean like, so when, real estate, what's being sold, like you're kind of like the document of where it all starts at.
Yes.
Right. Everything starts right in the clerk of courts.
Yes.
Like type thing.
Yes.
Now, you came up during when the game, when I say the game was changing in Henry County, like 2016, I believe, is when you started your, I guess, servant leadership role. I wouldn't call it a political role because it was a passion that you were already doing.
Yes.
During that time, where did you see the direction of this county going that inspired you to say, I want to get up and run and I want to get up and stand up for my community?
So I saw that the county was headed in a direction of change.
Okay.
And I wanted to be a part of that change.
Okay.
Going back to 2001 and even into 2005, I saw that skipping from 2001 to 2016, I really didn't see much of a change in our leadership. Okay. And so I started to see slightly a little bit of change in 2016.
Okay.
And so I knew that if there was going to be change in this county,
Okay.
that there had to be some change agents, some change movers, and I wanted
Yes.
to be a part of that. And so that's the reason why. That is what moved me
Okay.
to run, because I wanted to really make a difference in this county.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I believe, I mean, during that time, we had our current district attorney running. He was first time winning. We had other commissioners running. Who were, like, I guess, transitioning and changing the game of what the scope of this county looked like.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, you're married.
Yes.
To a pastor.
Yes.
Shout out to Pastor
Reverend Dr. G.R. Hill.
Reverend. All right. So that means that you're a first lady of a church, right?
Yes.
All right.
Ferguson Chapel Baptist Church.
Say that
in
again?
McDonough. Ferguson Chapel Baptist Church in McDonough, Georgia.
Okay. Tell us about how that journey plays a role into what you're doing today and what you're serving. You know, you guys have a church. You know, how important is it for you guys to bridge that gap through faith and community?
So it's very important that I first maintain a ministry to my husband.
Okay.
Because he was called to pastor Ferguson Chapel Baptist Church. First, we'll go back to he was called to be a pastor 27, almost 28 years ago.
Okay.
And he was called to Ferguson Chapel Baptist Church 11, almost 12 years ago, 2013.
Okay.
What's the math? 12 years ago. July will be 12 years ago.
Okay.
Right? And so understanding my role in ministry is to first be a ministry to him as his wife. Okay. And to support him and to make sure that I'm being the godly and God-fearing woman that I need to be for him.
Yes.
And if I keep God first in that everything else will fall in place.
Okay.
Meaning ministry, and then meaning my job here and the community, right? Because, you know, I have to do what God tells me to do in order for things to be successful in my life and in my endeavors. Now, I say this to say that I truly believe that my calling to the clerk's office has also been godly ordained.
Okay.
And after being here, he shows me more and more each day why it is that he has called me to be here, because there is a vision that he has set upon my life and upon this office that he wants me to complete. Like everything that I'm doing here, it's not for me. I'm not gaining anything,
right.
you know, personally.
Okay.
But it's because he wanted change here and he wanted certain things. And so he's just using me to do it.
Right.
And so I have to remember that so I don't ever go out and go, you know, get the big head, you know, that Sabriya is doing XXXYZ.
Correct.
Because this is what he wanted. And he's just putting me here for an appointed time to carry out that duty. And I feel the same way when it comes to ministry. And then also I feel the same way when it comes to dealing with the community. So, you know, however God sees fit to use me to empower and to build up, I'm just here to be used.
Man, phenomenal. We want to thank you for sharing that story. We're gonna have to skip into a commercial break, but you guys, we have Henry County Clerk of Superior Courts, Sabriya Hill, Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation. Ease up. Stay tuned, guys.